What up, YouTube Elleix? Come back at you with another custom StarCraft cast. Today we have a 1 versus 1 matchup featuring the Cosmonarchy Mod. If you're not familiar with this mod, it pretty much builds an entirely new game within the Brood War engine. This is Brood War in an alternate universe, let's put it that way. Big shout out to Pronogo, the developer of this mod, and big shout out to all the players playing this mod. Let's go ahead and introduce our current players. Spawning on the bottom left-hand side of the map, it's our electric blue Protoss player, Oya, going up against his opponent. Spawning on the top left-hand side of the map, it's our pumpkin or orange Zerg player, Sziky. Sziky, if I said your name incorrectly, and I'm 90% sure I did, please leave a comment down below and correct me. I would greatly appreciate that. Back to the show, though. A lot of Quasilisks running across the map. This is basically a Zergling Hydralisk hybrid. Oh, no, and the Protoss Scribe was caught by a couple of them, but spared. So the Scribe lives to see another day. Looks like both players are running around, scouting and seeing what's going on the other side of the map. Meanwhile, looks like a small engagement here. These Quasilisks running away. There's a Protoss Zealot and Ecclesiast, which is basically a Zealot. If a Zealot was a Marine, it shoots up and down. And the Protoss Idol as well, which also shoots up and down. So a lot of ranged options in the early game for Protoss in the Cosmonarchy mod. These Quasilisks forced to retreat back home. The Zerg though are almost finished, and this might push Oya away from Sziky's side of the map, and it looks like that's exactly what happened, at least for the time being. But there's more Protoss stuff running across the map to put the pressure on our Zerg player. Can Sziky hold this is the question, though. I'm not so sure. I mean, we have the 3 Quasilisks. We have a decent amount of Cesients, which are our static defense for the Zerg player. But, I mean, what else does he have? And Oya playing really aggressively just now, throwing down a Nexus. The Hatcherosk, the hatchery equivalent in the natural base location, is already finished. So it looks like Sziky is going for more of a macro playstyle. Meanwhile, this almost looks like a 1.5 base all-in for our Protoss player. This Ecclesiast doing a little dance here. He's like, hey, look, I'm so excited to be part of the team. Love that. Now, if you're new to my channel and you feel like you're in a fever dream, that's pretty common. I cast custom StarCraft 2 all the time. So if that's something you're interested in watching more of, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. Oya going in for the attack, though, and these Cesients are now mutating, which does reduce some static defense options for the Zerg player. At the same time, he's got a lot of army to defend this, forcing the Protoss player back, and also taking out some of these Protoss units. This Manifold here going down, the Idols surviving, and one Ecclesiast surviving as well. These Zealots are like, you know what, let's go back home. We weren't necessarily part of that fight, but we saw what was going on, and we're just not going to do that. They're not dealing with it. They're not being paid enough to just throw their lives away like that. Anyway, these Cesients are finished. This one is bleeding, but really not even in the yellow. And these Zerg units are currently still, I want to say, tier 1. One thing to know about the Cosmonarchy mod, or one thing to take note of, I should say, is that the tiers are a lot slower to tech up to. And teching up to tier 3 costs a lot of money. So once you're at tier 3, you know you're at like 25 minutes in the game at least. Anyways, a lot of Zerg units here, and this is looking mighty scary. The Zerg Hydralisks are just moving so quickly with their little Quasilisk brothers. Now, the Hydralisk can mutate into a couple new units. We'll see if that's something that our Zerg player opts to do. Looks like he was teasing us, though. He's like, yep, I'm going to attack, and then just runs away. Meanwhile, the base here is finished for our Protoss player. One other thing I should mention is the Protoss Nexus itself provides energy. So as you can see, you have an energy field here. Also, you have different options for economy. So I believe it's the Protoss Artisan. We'll see if we see one later on. It basically sends money straight to your bank without having to send it to a Nexus. It's so cool. I don't know what options the Zerg have, though. So, Pernogo, let me know down in the comments below what options the Zerg have for teching up to different economy options. You do have to tech up to it. It's not something that just comes to you. You actually have to tech up and survive long enough in the game to get those kind of upgrades to your economy. Anyway, the positron here as well. It is a mech unit, I believe, and look at its animation. It's so cool. A big engagement in the middle of the map. And by the way, I'm by no means an expert in Cosmonarchy. I want to say this is maybe my 6th or 7th cast of it, and I'm primarily a modded StarCraft 2 player, so this stuff still feels very much new to me. Anyway, the Zerg Bactylisks, if I'm not mistaken, this is something that does mutate from the Hydralisk. And it is so cool. I mean, look at its ability. What does it shoot? It shoots corrosive acid, which does shoot up and down. And the range, let's take a look, actually. Range is 7 as opposed to 5 range for the Hydralisk. And here we go. Another engagement in the middle of the map. These positrons, though, I feel like doing a lot of damage to the Zerg bio. I mean, all Zerg is bio, but it just looks like it's doing a lot of damage. You know what I mean? Anyway, the positrons, they do come out from a specialized structure that does not exist in Brood War. We'll take a look at it in a second. Right now, we want to keep our eyes on the action, and it looks like Oya deciding to push the Zerg all the way back home. Will he commit to this engagement is the question. It looks like he might. A lot of Cesians, though, here. Oya has to be careful not to overextend and lose this army. There's still a lot of stuff for the Zerg player to counterattack with. And it looks like Oya deciding to run back home. We have a third base here as well for our Zerg player. And oh no, just as I pointed it out, Oya sniffed it out. He's like, wait a minute, Elleix said something about a third base. I should go check out what the situation is. A couple Cesians here, though, and a split of the armies. So there's a Lackazilisk here, which is our Lurker equivalent, and also it looks like there's some movement of Zerglings here. They're not Zerglings. They are actually called Zethrockers. They will spot base number 3 for our Protoss player. And let's quickly take a look at what that building was that I was talking about that the positron comes from, because I saw it already. It is the Ardent Authority. And if you saw that briefly, I can point it out again really quickly once we have a break from the action. I mean, right now there's a lot going on, though. There's a real rocker here as well. These names are a tongue twister, let me tell you. And a Zoryu Slalith, which is a crazy-looking unit. It looks like a dinosaur. Anyway, do we have any detection to speak of for our Protoss player? I'm not so sure. Oh, man, so the Lackazilists doing a lot of damage here, a lot of splash damage, forcing the Protoss army back just a little bit. This is actually insane. The range, though, on the positrons is pretty good. We also have the Acantor here, which does have a special ability. I'm not entirely sure what it does, but I mean, look at this. Look at all the splash damage here. Well, actually, you know what? Great movement by Sziky, running away those Lurker equivalents. Man, what a cool mod. This is actually so insane. Oh, Dracodon's here as well. Kind of a Dragoon equivalent. They will go down, and it looks like the natural base is going to be put under some pressure here. And look at this, the Ardent Authority, where the positron comes from. I believe it's the positron, right? I already forgot. So cool. Here it is. Yep, the positron. I'm not crazy. Great move here by Oya, though, to defend, kind of trapping these Zerg units against the natural base. Oh, man, here we go. Yep, one of those Lackazilists going down to the Acantor. A lot of Zerg stuff here, though. Sziky has to be careful not to get hit by those, because that's a lot of splash damage. As you can see, a lot of those Hydras are going down. That was an insane hit. The Cantor's finally going down, though. One positron left and one witness, which is our observer equivalent, and that is it. Meanwhile, base number 3 also under fire, and look at this. This is crazy. What are these? The Protoss Matrix, which is static defense for our Protoss player. So as we can see, it seems that the meta does favor static defense just a little bit more than we're used to seeing, at least in StarCraft 2, and the Pariah here as well. Not to be confused with the Pariah from the Scion Custom Races mod. This is like a mecha alien looking thing. Very cool. It does barely survive. How many kills does it have? 2 kills, and that is it. This Incantor with 5 kills. This Incantor with 1 kill. One other thing I should mention about the Cosmonarchy mod is you can control as many units as you'd like. So you're not bound by the vanilla, kind of by the vanilla Brood War engine. You can control just as many units as you would control in StarCraft 2. And I also believe there's no supply cap. So you can build everything to your heart's content and you will be fine. You don't have to worry about supply capping. It's really, really cool. Anyway, look at this army. Back to Lisks, we have Hydralisk. We got the Lurker equivalent, the Lakazilisk. And what else do we have back home? I believe the tech option that our Zerg player opted for was this Zorkiz Shroud right here. And it's so cool looking. I mean, seeing the custom models in Brood War, in the Brood War engine, is just so trippy to me, man. It really does feel like a fever dream, and I cast this stuff all the time. Some movement here by our Protoss player, though. It looks like both players are deciding to hold off just a little bit. And we're jumping ahead a few seconds here because it was quiet, but it looks like there is going to be an engagement closer to the Zerg side of the map. Will Oya be able to push through this Zerg army? Taking a look at the supply, the total supply, I believe left is worker supply and right is army supply, if I'm not mistaken. So what is that, like 69 army supply? Nice, to 32 in favor for our Zerg player. Hopefully I didn't mix that up. The Cantor shot taking out a few of those Hydras, but this is so much Zerg stuff, man. This engagement is going crazy. There's so much action on the map right now. The Protoss army is on the run. A huge hit, though, on those Hydras from the Acantors. And what is going on behind all this? There is a Lakazilisk doing some damage to the mineral line in the main base for our Protoss player. And also all these Protoss units going down, giving the lead, I want to say, to our Zerg player. And Sziky, I think, realizing the advantage he has running across the map, possibly for the killing blow. What do we have here, though? Looks like the looks like the Lurker equivalent was spotted. Oh man, yep. And these are where the pariahs come from. They come from the the prostration stage. And that is such a cool looking building, man, I gotta say. Anyway, what is this? Base number 3 under fire by the Zerg player. The pariahs coming in to try and defend this. Oya waiting for his reinforcements, though, not wanting to engage this all at once. And here we go. Looks like Oya trying to close the distance to the Zerg army. But these Hydralisks are just way too much, I feel like, for our Protoss player to handle. We do have one Acantor here as well. It does go down, unfortunately. Now the Pariah is here to try and attack the rest of this stuff. Will Oya survive is the question. Oya throwing out the GG, giving the victory to our pumpkin Zerg player Sziky. What a sick match. If you guys enjoyed what you saw, please consider shooting me a like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you guys on the next one.